Hello, I'm Pastor Dave, and these are our Advent devotions for December 3rd, 2021. And our eyes at last shall see him, through his own redeeming love. For that child so dear and gentle is our Lord in heaven above. The opening to the fourth stanza of this hymn, is not as clear as the others are. There's so much happening in here. Seeing Christ, redeeming love, gentleness. When we just look at these, you can just assume I'm not writing about the Lord of heaven. This is different. It's very human. What I am drawn into, though, with these opening words, and our eyes at last shall see him, I get pulled into that because it is special. When we work throughout the Old Testament, no one saw the face of God. No one really was fully in God's presence where they could see him. We have some inclinations that basically some of the greatest prophets of the Old Testament maybe caught a glimpse, where they saw how God chose to manifest himself, like in the bush that was burning but not consumed. Or just seeing God's back. Of course, then we also have the times when all of Israel could see God, but not the face of God. When Israel was crossing the wilderness to get to the promised land, they were led by night by a pillar of fire, led by day by the pillar of smoke. It was the divine presence before them, manifested in smoke and fire. But yet, they could never see God. And that's something people really struggle with. I even preach how this is an issue back on the 14th. That sometimes we really desire to see what we believe, and sometimes struggle to believe what we cannot see. Think to the golden calf at Sinai and how quickly people turned to an idol after Moses left because they needed something tangible to relate them to God. And really, that's why I think so many religions have had idols and statues. Things that help people sense the divine so they could understand it and be drawn to it. But God was never really that way until Christ. When Jesus Christ was born, he was God on earth. He was God visible. People could see Jesus. They could see his face. They could touch him, as we hear in the gospel. God went from being the unseen to being the seen. God went from being just fully God to being both fully God and fully human. So people could actually see and interact with God as one would interact with anyone else. The struggle for us today is we can't see him like they could then. We still have to believe without seeing. But now we have accounts that God was walking amongst us, that people talked to him, they saw him, some even touched him. If we can believe those accounts, it can help us to believe. That is our devotion for today. I hope to see you tomorrow.